Episode 9. The Truth Behind Adrian VOSS. Morning after their night together felt different. Not awkward exactly, but heavier. Lena arrived at Voss's tower earlier than usual. The lobby was quiet, the morning light stretching across the polished floors as employees slowly began arriving for the day. She stepped into the elevator alone. As the doors closed, she caught a glimpse of herself in the reflective metal. Her hair was pulled back neatly, her expression calm, but her thoughts were anything but calm. Last night had changed something, not just the professional boundary between them. It had changed how she saw Adrian, and that made writing his story more complicated. When the elevator doors opened on the executive floor, Marcus was already waiting. "Good morning, Miss Moretti." "Morning." Marcus studied her briefly. "You are early. So are you. That is normal for me." Lena smiled faintly. "For him too?" Marcus did not answer immediately. "Mr. Voss has been in his office since 6? That sounded about right. "Is he alone?" she asked. "Yes." She nodded and walked toward the office. The door was slightly opened. Adrian stood near the windows again, the city stretching endlessly behind him. He turned when he heard her footsteps. For a brief moment, neither of them spoke. There was a quiet awareness between them now. "What time did you get here?" she asked. 6. "You slept?" "A few hours." "That is not healthy." "I have survived so far." Lena walked into the room and placed her notebook on the table. "So," she said, "today we talk about the moment everything changed." Adrian's expression shifted slightly. "You are persistent." "Yes." He walked toward the table slowly. "You asked about the defining moment in my life, and you have been avoiding the answer for a reason." "That reason being?" Adrian rested his hands lightly on the back of a chair. "My first company almost failed." Lena blinked. "That is not in any of the public interviews." "No." "What happened?" "For a year, the company was losing money." "That is normal for startups." "Yes, but investors are not patient." Lena began writing again. "Did they pull funding?" "Some of them tried," and Adrian hesitated. Then he said something unexpected. "My father lost everything because of that company." Lena looked up sharply. "What?" "He had invested his savings." Her pen stopped moving. "You never mentioned that." "No." "What do you mean he lost everything?" Adrian's voice remained steady. "He believed in me, and when the company struggled, he invested more money trying to keep it alive." Lena felt the air shift. "How much?" "Everything he had saved for retirement." The words landed heavily. "What happened to him?" she asked quietly. Adrian looked out toward the city again. "He had a heart attack 2 months later." Lena froze. "He died before the company succeeded." Silence filled the office. The skyline outside the windows looked sharp and distant under the morning light. Adrian's voice grew quieter after that. "For a long time," he said, "I believed the company had killed him." Lena remained still. "I remember the hospital," Adrian continued. "The room smelled like antiseptic and plastic machines everywhere. My father hated hospitals. He used to complain about them whenever he had to visit someone." His gaze drifted back toward the city. "But when I saw him there, he looked smaller somehow." Lena felt a tightness in her chest. "You were young," she said softly. "I was arrogant," Adrian replied. "I believed success was inevitable. That risk was just another calculation." He exhaled slowly. "I did not understand what it cost him to believe in me." The quiet between them deepened. "That is why failure is not an option for you," Lena said. Adrian nodded once. "Yes." Lena closed her notebook slowly. "That is the real story," she said. "Yes." "And you have never told anyone?" "No." "Why?" Adrian finally looked back at her. "Because success makes people assume the path was easy, and this part complicates the narrative. It reveals the cost." Lena leaned back slightly. "And you want this in the book?" "Yes." She studied him carefully. "You are trusting me with something very personal. Yes, why? Adrian's answer came quietly, because you are the only person who insisted on finding it. Lena felt something tighten in her chest. This was the moment she had been searching for, the truth behind Adrian VOSS. But it came with a new problem. If she wrote this story honestly, the world would see a different version of him, a vulnerable one. And that meant the book would no longer be just a business memoir. It would be something far more personal. Lena stood and walked toward the window beside him. You realize this changes the book completely. Yes, it also changes how readers see you. That is the point. She turned toward him, and if I write it exactly as it happened, then it will finally be honest. Lena held his gaze for a long moment, then she said quietly, I think this might be the most important chapter of the entire book. Adrian nodded. Slightly, I believe you are, right? But neither of them said the thing. They were both thinking that the story between them had also changed, and whatever came next would decide whether it survived the truth.